everybody, this is Tristan Theremin, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel. As you might already know, I do a lot of practice acting and monologues, and I thought it would be very important to experience the art of previous actors on my show as well. And so today we will be watching together a show called SRAM. From what I've heard, it's very different and that it's been released in real time over the last few months on YouTube, and that it is about a young man who finds out that he has romantic interests to someone of the same gender in a previously homophobic society. It's set in Croatia, which is very unique in itself as well. And I would like to react to this show because I myself personally grew up queer and Christian, which is largely known as a homophobic religion, and I want to show that there's representation for teenagers of the same age to comfort them and to demonstrate that there are others like them and that they're not alone in their experiences. So, let's get started. I really like it already. I like how it feels like it's just another teen going on social media or taping, whatever you would like. That's pretty cool.
Ak ja budem ginger, sad. Ovo izgleda dobro. Laura farbat. Moram si naći drugo ime.
So interesting that they speak English intersected with, I think, either Croatian, I think is what the language is called. That's so interesting. You know, I find it really interesting that in other nations they do use English so naturally. I have friends from other countries as well, and they really do speak English so well. And it's so surprising because I know that I speak 3 languages, but they are so much better at learning languages. It's so crazy. I think I spent like 12 years on learning Spanish, and already I'm still not grammatically correct in anything. Here they're using slang. It's crazy. My word! They look like they have a party of a rager. I've never had that party. I'm kind of sheltered in a way. Didn't taste a sip of alcohol until I was 21, you know? It's so interesting how different cultures feel about that. It looks like it's pretty common if they're high schoolers, I think, to go out and drink. I guess they're also legal age as 18, so who knows? I'm kind of being a Karen here, probably. You know what? I think that's such a common experience for a lot of people, and teen people just expect that when you grow up, you have a boyfriend, or you have a girlfriend, or if any interaction between the opposite sex is somehow romantic in nature, and you kind of grow up thinking that way. If I assume this is the guy that figures out he has romantic interests for a guy, he might be bisexual, he might be gay, but it's really interesting how you just grow up and kind of conform, because if you're not aware of the possibilities of something different, you kind of just accept that what you're feeling with the opposite gender isn't friendship, but oh, this is what a romantic interest is supposed to feel like. But sometimes you just don't know what that really even means if that's the only influence or news or experience you have around you. If you grew up seeing heterosexual couples, then you expect that you'd also find yourself to be in a heterosexual pairing. And sometimes it just feels like something's wrong with you, or you ask yourself the questions of, why am I not feeling what other people say they're feeling? Are they just exaggerating it? Are they lying because they're expected to, and you just don't really get it until you really figure it out, actually. Interesting. Maybe he is attracted to both girls and boys. And was the expected result of life, perhaps, in such a society? You kind of shut away the rest that you don't really fit in with, and you just go straight for what makes you the same as other people. I know I would do that if I were him. If that's something that you're struggling with, it's so much easier to take the easier path, really. Also, they just switched the cinematography. I realized they went from found footage style to kind of cinematic TV show style, which is interesting. I like that choice that they made. I think the framing here is really interesting. It's showing that romantic tension of everybody else around you doesn't really matter when you found someone that you really like. It places that feeling you get of everyone else disappearing in a cinematic sense, which I really appreciate, that framing.
Kao malo? Pa da. Mislim, slušaš ju. Mislim, kao nije da samo ližeš koji idiot, moraš ono sve koristiti.
Gle, dođeš, napraviš.
I know this is such a common stereotype, but isn't it a bit disrespectful to talk about women in that way, as if there's something that you're doing? Of course, you can enjoy sex with someone, you can enjoy the experience of being intimate with someone, but the fact that you're talking about women and something that you're using, something that you're licking, I don't think I can support the heterosexual society that says that that's the norm, that that's kind of like the straight male thing to do. I'm against that. And I'm appreciative of the fact that we've gotten better and that men have become can see women as people nowadays, but seriously, so annoying.
Pa iz iskustva, kak bi znao.
On ima iskustvo?
Da, Buraz, imam 30 godina radnog staža.
Pa budeš mi ti onda pokazao ako imaš iskustvo, ajde.
Bog, nismo se upoznali.
Ema, drago mi.
Jakov.
Mario, Filip.
A vi ste nešto brzo pobjegli iz kluba, vidimo se, uživajte.
Ajde.
Ćao.
Ćao. Ali ja možda ostanem još malo sama.
My crew. Never heard anyone say it that way. Maybe that's like a translation thing, some kind of slang that's not translating well into English. But that's cool.
Sjedit.
Cool.
Also, look at that wall design. That's so cool. Like painting all that graffiti and design, and I wonder what it means.
Da.
Playing hard to get. Does he actually want her?
Kaj za naročak?
It's actually something that I've always thought was interesting. We often look at drugs or weed or smoking is really bad, but what alcohol is pretty bad as well, and it doesn't help with the line of consent, especially in the queer world. Lots of things happen when you're drunk that you probably wouldn't do when you're sober, and also it's really bad for your health. Even one drink is enough to affect your body system, which is crazy how much we normalize it. Of course, you can drink for fun, moderately, like any other enjoyable substance, but still, I think maybe we should consider the fact that we shouldn't be normalizing alcohol use. It's kind of icky in a way.
Šta misliš ti o tom? Ha?
Mama.
They seem really close, and I appreciate that they're showing that representation of having your family nearby. But I also wonder what he thinks, if this is really the guy that is going to begin to discover that he has romantic interests for someone of the same gender, whether he would feel as if keeping this secret from his mother protects that kind of relationship that you have with them. Maybe your reputation, maybe you really love your mother and you don't want them to suffer because of the decisions that you make, something that you feel is a part of you that the rest of society doesn't really accept. And if you know that you tell your mother, she might not accept you, or she might accept you but then get ostracized from the rest of society around you, and how hard that decision is. I wonder how they're going to show that, because that's definitely a big part of my life, in that I spent a very long time wrestling through of whether I should tell my own mother, even though she's like my best friend, because I could see that the rest of the Christian world would most likely ostracize her, that it would be hard, that it would be hard to move forward in a way that kept our relationship together in the strong way that it had already formed from childhood, but also in a way that had to team up together against the rest of the world that we lived in. And we're still struggling with it now. My mother actually doesn't really support me pursuing romantic relationships of the same gender, but I am slowly working through that and finding really the bravery to move forward and to pursue life in a way that's something that I wouldn't regret, It's really difficult. Ooh, a flower. It was interesting. They purposefully panned to the flower. A flower could mean a lot of things. Perhaps a beginning, a realization, a change in scenery, a change in season. Interesting. They might be hinting at something with that. With the cinematography. That was interesting. The color was red. It's kind of a symbol for love, symbol for passion. Who knows? Let's find out.
Smo mi tu? Je ovo naša?
Sad mi sa rukicom daj neku. Hvala ti.
Here.
Sam čula da ti isto tu.
Ima sve pet.
I love these friends. That's so funny. When your besties are like, ooh, what do you think of our friend? Can't believe you got him. So funny. I have friends like that too, so that's really interesting. Another thing that I just can't, they go to college for economics, but I think they're in secondary school, like maybe even sixth form age. high school in American terms. Think because I've been to Serbia before, but they actually have a system of school that's similar here, where you actually choose kind of your studies. You can choose like the medical route or the science route or the art route and the economic route, but you're not actually in uni, you're in the high school sixth form age when you choose this. And I know people from Serbia who could go and directly be nurses or like helping out in the medical field right after high school, sixth form age, which is really interesting. I don't know if I've seen any school system like that anywhere else. Maybe it's the same here as well, from what I can tell.
Radimo. Kada si već ok, bivši mi je skater i ne znam.
Have you ever had happen where you're like dating somebody in a friend group and then you feel so bad because after you break up, you kind of either they take the entire friend group and that's kind of sad because you're friends with these people now too, or you take them and now you feel really bad because that person left because of you, kind of. It's so hard. That was so sweet. It's so respectful too. She is very beautiful, and so I hope that if he does only like guys in the future, this is the character that we're following, that he doesn't hurt her very much, because I know that I've tried to date in a straight way and I regret that I hurt the person trying to fit in with, because that person deserves the world, deserves sunshine, deserves the happiness that I was trying to find, but I used them because I was so scared, because I was so anxious of the world around me. And so I hope that if they do go that route, they treat her, this character, Emma, really well, because I don't know what it's like from that other perspective, but I know that the person that I hurt was truly something that I really regret doing.
Da.
To? Sad ok?
Da.
Right. As a teen, being intimate in this way for the first time, it's so awkward, but kind of like that first experience. I've never had it, of course, but every time I see someone talk about it or react to shows where they show this kind of experience of teenage intimacy, it's so interesting because in certain shows you see the total opposite where everything goes by smoothly and they put romantic music around it and it's all this perfect story, but I think in reality it's probably awkward and you're learning as you go and you're doing it because you really enjoy the company and the figure of this person in your life, but it's got to be awkward the first time. I like that they're showing that here. Point. He commented on the earring and the light. Maybe he doesn't want to go this far in their relationship, be this intimate. Maybe they need to talk, because consent is the key, always. I'm going to tell everybody here, consent is key.
100%. Znaš da ne moramo
Good, Emma. Yes. I know we often talk about the man forcing women, which is a sad reality, but also the opposite way too. Men can say no if they don't want to. Anybody can say no and stop if they don't want to go too far. or they're not comfortable. It's a consent is key world here. Really like cuddling though. That was really sweet. Also, I've watched the previous versions of this where they go to different countries. They started in Netherlands and went to France and then went to Spain and Italy and so forth. It's so interesting how they represent the character who dates a girl who kind of fit in. In the previous shows, this counterpart to this character, I believe, often isn't really that intimate with the girlfriend. It's just someone that he's showing around. They don't really kiss. He's very confused. Or they just hang out. It's interesting the pathway that they've taken here, which is that can't tell if he feels as if he's attracted to her or if he is just trying because he hasn't figured anything else out yet. Like, this is all going to be new for him. He hasn't even had a thought, maybe, what they're kind of going for in this adaptation. Maybe because Croatia is still pretty homophobic in its elderly generations, it's still sometimes even taboo. It's something that's still discriminated against, still some violent attacks as well. It's interesting how they're going with this to adapt to the culture that we're in through this guy's perspective. Like this one so much. I love this friendship dynamic. I have something like this too with my friends. We're like mean to each other entirely, but we do it in a really fond way, and we're like best friends. It's so fun when you can just roast each other for fun, but you know that they don't actually mean to hurt you, so it's fun banter.
Ali ne broj se da.
Hey, at least the bet is going to make you healthier.
A još jedno?
Oh, I wonder what that means. Etsy betsy stjetsy. Must be a cultural thing. That's pretty cool.
Čekaj, evo.
A još jedno?
Oh, I wonder what that means. Etsy betsy stjetsy. Must be a cultural thing. That's pretty cool.
Čekaj, evo.
A još jedno?
Oh, I wonder what that means. Etsy betsy stjetsy. Must be a cultural thing. That's pretty cool.
Čekaj, evo.
That is so sweet. Like, having friends that surprise you when you're on your way back and pouring into you. I think that's what life's about. We don't know what happens after life, but in this life, we get to experience the people that we love and care about, and we get to enjoy that.
Pusti dečka na miru, ajde daj.
Ooh, is this the love interest? Ooh. It's interesting if he is indeed the guy. Unlike the previous adaptations of this script, they're putting the party and the meeting together. In the previous adaptations, it was more of a school group that they went, and he sees this love interest for the first time. But I think they're combining the two in this one, which is pretty cool. Also, that bike is hilarious. It really does look like a pizza delivery bike. That's hilarious.
Bacaš ko formu.
So I'm guessing that's the guy in the previous episodes that forms a really important part of the main character's experience with coming to learn about the world around him and the fact that he's not alone in this experience, but I don't want to spoil too much as I react to this. I want to know how they do it in this episode, in this adaptation as well. Not him hiding whatever that was. Ouch. Oh my word.
Grazie. Oj, samo fajkat.
And the flower. Okay, I'm guessing that these two are going to start to like each other. And I really do like the way that they decided to put the party and the meeting of each other together, because it changes the story from the previous adaptations, and also it kind of increases the thrill factor, escaping on a motorbike.
Svět je prekryjo sněh, danas je prázdnik, ty neostal sám.
I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction to episode 1 of SRAM. If you would like to see more of this content, please click like and subscribe, and comment down below. This has been Tris Thurman, and I hope you all have a nice day.